Hello, everyone. Hello. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Yours truly, and my lovely sidekick, my wonderful woman. I pray that all is well. Let me know that you care. If you can hear me, please do like and share. We have a wonderful time for our Saturday evening relationship talk. Well, excuse me, I'm trying to get this right. Our Saturday night relationship talk, where we not only talk about marriage, but dating and relationship that hopefully should lead to marriage. But I know, marriage in this climate of 2026 is not really uh, uh, appealing to men because laws are set against us and the enemy want to keep us divided. And that being said, we have feminism and all kind of stuff. And so hopefully you guys can take something from here. You can add to it by asking questions, giving comments or statements, and hopefully hear you in the comments. We didn't start on YouTube first because we were playing lovely music and I wanted to listen to some lovely music. Uh, God bless the long late great Kevin Samuels. I had to use some True Lies and a couple of other another one, a nice uh, trumpet feel. If you play instruments like I do, you'll know what I'm talking about if you heard it before at the start of this stream. Please like and share. Let us know that you care. God bless you. God for the ones that are watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. Um, there, I wanted to come on here. We had a um, uh, I told my wife I wanted to either do it today or next week to get it out of the way. We have to do some today. I'm gonna take off my hat, which I normally don't do. My wife will like when I take off my cap because she don't want to make America great again. She wants to.
I didn't say that.
She want to make it
About relationship talk.
Make it right. It goes hand in hand. Silver and black, gold and black, stuff like that. But I do that for the sake of our show. But I love serving my country, and I love this. I don't even see the president, but my wife don't like how you guys abuse me online when I wear my cap. I don't care, but when she on here with me, I'm gonna take one for the team right now. So I'm gonna take off. Normally I do that, take off my cap and stuff like that, because she said you always get your way, Maurice. But I said I'm the boss, so the boss Julie get his way.
Pray for him.
So pray for the man of
and pray
God.
for me.
Pray for the man of God. All right, we need prayer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to tell you to do something. Hold on, let me write it. Let me.
Okay.
If you can do that, go to the page and stuff like that. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Other than that, what are you proud of for? What are you proud of me for? Tell me what you're proud of me for. Uh, in any event, shout out to my brother with another mother, same father, my brother Alan. Shout out to him. And to everyone else that are watching, please hit the like and share. Let us know you care. Follow our YouTube page, Way of Life Christian Fellowship, too, as well. And hit the like and subscribe too as well. Most people don't turn on their notifications because they want to turn on. They want to. It turns on everything on their phone, but you shouldn't have too much. Some things you can put on silent mode. Some things I have on that it just give me updates too as well. I was talking to my brother Tommy Sotomayor. Shout out to him. I was on his panel today and the other day where we were talking about how this mother of four wanted a boss guy making money, all this stuff, showing no humility or nothing like that, and everybody popped the balloon on her. It was a given. Nobody don't want to, unfortunately, but nobody don't want to deal with a single mother, basically. And not only they don't want to deal with a single mother, they don't want to deal with one that is cocky and arrogant. Be humble. You want to get married, you want someone to love you and accept your kids. Show humility, respect, and love, and don't say what a man should have. Just know, what he should already know that he should have, and go from there. That being said, on this evening, um, we have a topic. We celebrated our anniversary on last Friday. I've been with my wife over 17, 18 years now. It's been a long journey for us, and I honor marriage. At first, I couldn't stand marriage, never wanted to get married, didn't even want to have children, especially that because I grew up with a lot of brothers and sisters, 15 kids from my father, and my mother had 12, number two, I was. And it was a lot too as well. Growing up in the 80s, in the early 90s, it was very tough, but it was simplistic because we didn't have internet, cell phone, social media, and things like that. We had to go outside and play, read books, make it, and like where a lot of people are just on phones and video games and stuff. And there's a whole world that you can learn about out there too as well. But one thing got me into to even having kids is to get married. And for me to get married, the Lord had to come into my life because to me, I say this even as a preacher, anything, marriage outside of God is not beneficial for man at all, especially in today's society because the laws are not geared balancedly. It's more geared to women, and judges side with them no matter what. Child support is an extortion, and you can get half of what a person owned, even if you didn't help accumulate that just by being married to them. So I tell men, you want to get married through the church. Don't get married through the state unless you sign a prenuptial agreement. Most preachers don't say that. Most definitely pastors don't say that because they don't want to ruffle feathers. They don't want to offend women. They don't want them to leave the church. They don't want them to leave with their offers. But I say this truly from my heart too as well. But we're called to be together. I have the scripture in front of me because women are made for man, not man for women. But and it says that Genesis 1 and 21st chapter and 26. It says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our own likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and the air and the cattle of the field and so forth." Verse 27, I'm jumping down, I'm reading quickly. It says, God created man in his own image. And in the image of God, he created him, making male and female created them. And then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and the beasts are the creepy things over that moves on the earth. But my favorite, which are couples, our couples theme is, scripture themes is St. Mark chapter 10, verse 7, which Jesus quoted in Genesis of, first this reason, and man shall leave his father and his mother, cleave to his wife, and them two should become one flesh. So then they are no longer two but one, and therefore what God has joined together, let no one separate. Let no devil separate mama, daddy, baby mama, baby daddy, kids. Nobody separate but you. Technically, marriage is supposed to be to death do us part, not reconcile the differences, not we disagree, not I didn't like the way he talked to me, not she burnt the food, not none of that, didn't have no money, broke, not he got sick, but none of that. And a lot of people do not. A lot of people get offended easy. We want to get offended easy. We want this play victim with everything. But marriage is not for the faint of heart. And marriage is for two imperfect people to come together to have Christ centered in our life. That we play our part as male and female, and to work things out, have family, and show the reflection of what Christ had with the church. But nobody really don't want to do that because they don't have a relationship with God. But people of the world take bits and pieces from God's word and kind of piecemeal it to their life. You won't get the real deal unless you come to Christ. So that being said, this is not no Bible study. This is not no sermon. This is not anything. We're talking about relationships here on Saturday evening. Why people getting drunk, why people doing things they shouldn't do. We are talking about how to make America great again. And how we make America great again is by marriage. And how do families come by? Through marriage, through a husband and wife. Children are still born outside of marriage. That's called born out of wedlock, bastard children. However, we're called to do things the right way, and the right way is God's way. Honey, do you have anything to say? I know I was taking up, but I wanted to kind of lay down the foundation right now for us to start and things like that. Do you want to team?
He's answering your question.
I ain't worried, but I knew what he meant. I just wanted him to say it. I just wanted him to say it. You know. Yeah.
Never a dull moment.
No, never done. No, we're not over here. Nope. What we got?
You just want to start with? Oh, and please, if you have questions, give us your questions so we can answer them. So just put them in the chat, and we will answer them. So we're talking about marriage, or those planning to get married, or already married couples, expectations in long-term relationship and marriage.
I mean, you can talk about anything, but that's one that I wanted to talk about, expectations, because a lot of people have a lot of expectations in relationships, and when they get together, not understanding that you can have a perception of what you want to see from the person as you go in a relationship. Hopefully you not only talk to them, but hopefully you have sat down with someone and did premarital counseling, or if you're dating right now, that you make it known, I believe, on a first date, not beyond the third date. You got 2 dates to say, look, I want to be married. I'm dating for marriage. I'm not trying to have sex before marriage. This is what I like to see and to have a person like that. If you're not the person, that's okay. We can just be cool and things like that. But a lot of people don't want to stay, mainly guys, because mostly we just want sex. We don't want a full commitment and things like that. And this is how preachers should be talking straight. And, you don't want to get lewd, but at the same time, you want to be straight and direct and get to the point. That's just me personally. And I believe we should get straight to the point and not beat around the bush with anything, because if you don't say nothing, I don't say nothing, and then look, time has passed. And ladies, I like to say to you out there that if you're dating someone by 2, 3, 4 years, or engaged 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you're wasting your time, because you ain't getting married and you're not engaged. I just told someone that 2 weeks ago in Costco. They were engaged for 4 years, and I said, you're not engaged. For one, you don't even have a date. For 2, 4 years is too long. And for 3, you're playing around. So if you're meant to get married, you'll go to the city hall, or you'll go to a preacher's church and ask them to marry you on the spot right there. If you're not ready yet, you don't have the money, or you don't have an apartment yet, don't say that you're engaged. But people do things backwards. And so until someone confront them and give them clarity and let them know, this is what you need to do. I believe men should not get married, think about a woman in that, or have even a girlfriend in that, unless you have a car, a place to stay, and a job. If you don't have those 3 things, then you need to let that go. That's just in my personal opinion. And that, who am I? I'm nobody to everyone. Where we got? What is your advice for people on
accelerated timelines to marriage? Like, for example, dating less than 6 months and married.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I asked my wife was going to marry me. I was going to want to marry her in 6 months. My godfather just told me, wait another year. I said, look, Dad, my spiritual father. I said, look, we're going to do something. Something's going to happen. I'm going to overtake her, and I'm going to seduce her. But plain and simple, I'm just giving you the words that I told him. And I said, so I waited a little bit longer, like a few months, 3 months longer, 9 months, and that was it. Because I can't keep seeing you. I can't come over your house, or you can't come over my house in a private setting. You stay with your grandmother, and we do something. You know, nobody ain't seeing but me and us and God not around that we can see, and people like that. That's why I tell people meet in public places. Don't get alone too much and stuff like that, especially with self control. So if you're older, stuff like that, meaning 30 plus, sure. If you're religious, you can get married under 30. I believe men shouldn't marry under 30 unless they're in the church relationship, Holy Spirit, filled with God. Other than that, that's it too.
I was.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say there's nothing wrong with that. If both people know what they want. So it's like if you know that this is the person that you want to be with, you guys can see, the future ahead. There's no point in just wasting time. Now, if you're just waiting a little bit to maybe like plan more for the wedding, like Pastor said, it shouldn't take like years and years and years to plan a wedding. And if you just want this extravagant wedding, then yeah, it's going to take time to plan that. But if you just want to be married, you can even do something small, like you said, at City Hall or whatever the case may be. And then you're legally married. And then you can still plan for a bigger wedding, when the time comes. I'm sorry?
You can put it out.
Okay. Like when the time comes, then you can plan for that. But I feel like if you know what you want, there's no time for playing games and stuff like that. Because other people, see the value in the person that you're dating or whatever like that, and so, yeah, I mean, time and chance can happen too, where, you wait too long and then it's like, the person's like, you know what, this, what are we doing here? After a while, it's like we're basically.
Yeah. I wouldn't go. If you want to go to City Hall, you can do that. You get married.
Well, you can.
I get married in a private ceremony with a preacher. I would get married in a private ceremony with a preacher at a church. Give me a certificate. Call it a day. But yes, I would do that. I don't believe in big weddings because I think those are a scam too. I think that's money. Unless you're paying for it, cool. I'm not gonna pay. I unfortunately I did, and I got past that. I mean, we ain't talking about that. I already know you're feeling. However, I recommend men don't pay for a wedding. Okay, unless you make 6 figures, 7 figures, and stuff like that, I recommend don't pay it unless it's under 50 people.
Well, to each their own. I'm gonna put it like that because of course, you want to stay within your budget. Don't be trying to like.
There's no budget. I'm just saying. I'd rather put down on a house for me prior to marriage or during marriage.
Yes.
So I will not.
That's why I said you live based on your income. You know what you can afford to do, what you can't afford to do. So don't be trying to go above and beyond when you can't afford that. But if you can afford a nice wedding, you can have some stuff. I don't feel like you just should have to like just do whatever, take whatever or do whatever. This is your time to celebrate, being married. So yeah, you want it to be nice. But that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to do all that either. Because yeah, you do have to prepare for the future. Yeah, you want to get a house one day. If you want to buy a better car or whatever the case may be. So you want to kind of plan ahead and think ahead too. So yeah, it's always good to have that budget in mind when you're thinking of these things, when you're trying to plan for a wedding, for your future, and things like that. Not just, thinking in the moment and just wasting all your money and then you don't have nothing to show for after the wedding. So absolutely, you gotta.
Technically, the father's supposed to pay it. The daughter.
Well, yeah, technically, traditionally, that's how.
But if it's on the two, I recommend, honey, I ain't paying for none of that. We can go down to the local church or the church we're a part of and have a ceremony, call it a day.
That's fine.
I have a house that you're coming to, so that's it. Or I'm trying to get that, but I'm not paying anything over 5 digits. I'm not paying nothing. I may do $1,000. I'm not paying none of that. No, maybe we can have a reception. Or if my money coming, I'm dictating things.
Or the honeymoon, maybe you can plan for the honeymoon. Could be more of a little getaway trip. We could, you can put a little bit more into that.
All right. Well, I already had that plan, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
I understand.
Yes.
But I wanted to get to some expectations in long-term relationships / marriage. I believe relationships, which I mean, when I mean relationship, I mean marriage, but I put relationships because people are dating too. Hopefully they're dating to marriage. if they don't want to be married and they ever don't want to be married or they want to be married for a long time, they need to say that up front. You have to ask questions, certain questions of people because they can be covert about things.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be rude, obnoxious, but you have to make your case what you want when you talk to that person. And if they're so cool, you shouldn't bully a person or pressure a person. But a lot of guys, we want to be around girls, especially if they're pretty and stuff like that. So we'll say something to appeal to them. But the woman, one thing that she should know that, ladies, that your commodity is in your beauty, in your youth, and your fertility. And if you're not, uh, in the if you're getting older and you want kids, you need to do something. You want to be married, you need to stake your claim, because it's like a car coming off the car lot. Once you come off the lot, your value is coming down in a sense in the dating world until eyes of the man that you want, because the man may not want you. He may want your daughter or your sister. I'm just using that for a younger version of you, better choice words. So you need to make claim. And if you're over 30, in most men's opinion, you're not a 10, and you need to be able to be more serious about what you want in relationships too as well. So that being said, make your expectations known, and then once you get established in an agreement, you're going forward. Know that certain things that you want may not happen, certain things that you want may happen, and then the adjustment going into the relationship, because I had certain expectations coming in when I came, to the Lord. Before the Lord, I didn't really have no expectation because I didn't want marriage, and I didn't look at it that way. But once I came to the Lord, I said, "Okay, Lord, I like this, and I do this, and this, and a lot of things I got, and some things I didn't. I had to adjust to." And so that was my perception, especially when I met her. She was younger than I was, and I was more experienced in the world and the streets. However, that was better for me that she was not. A lot of women see that as manipulation, older, but no, men want to lead and you follow and teach you things and you learn, even though you may know some things. And it's better for us because a guy want to always generally be assertive and go from there. Not that you cannot say you've done this or know this from there. And so I didn't have too much of a problem with that with her. And the expectations I got was good because she haven't been with no one or damaged or poor broken relationships or, and things like that. So, that's something I probably had to dealt with if she was experienced to that too. So you have to talk to the person that you're dealing with to know their background and to be on the same page so you can have similar expectations and or adjust your expectations as you go in a relationship. So I wanted to give it to you to say, prior to me, during me, before marriage and after marriage, how did you see your expectations with a guy that you wanted to be with, long-term marriage, then when you got with said guy, and then after you got married? I don't know if that...
yeah, that's a lot you're asking there, but I'll just generalize
some people
it.
say
I'm not going to generalize it to me, but I'll just do like just generalize in general because that's too much. But he had mentioned about having some shared connection with the person. So of course, when you're going on a date or you're dating people, of course the first thing you see is the physical attraction and such, and so forth. But you want to be able to really, beauty's only skin deep. So it's like you really want to be able to have a connection with the person, not just how they look on the outside, but you want to be able to talk with them and see if you guys really connect, if they can kind of, fit those, like a puzzle, like I bring this to the table, you bring this to the table, it matches. Not saying everything has to be perfectly to the T, but, you guys should be able to complement each other in areas, and at least, especially if, you're living for God, you do want somebody to also live for God, because that helps to even strengthen your relationship. You guys have already, the common goal of God is has a shared goal, so that's a plus. Um, yes, so I would say basically, it is good to have those conversations, even though they may be uncomfortable. People don't always open up at first, but it's good to get enough information to out of the person to know if this person is someone for the long haul. Can I see a future with you? If a person is kind of standoffish, or they kind of seem like they're withholding stuff, it's like, we got to pay attention to the red flags. Not saying people got to spit out all their business, but they should be transparent with you. They should be open enough to be able to answer your questions. And as time goes on, your communication should evolve. It shouldn't just be, scratching the surface. You should be able to dig deeper with your conversations and see if that connection is growing. And if so, then that's probably a person that you can consider to, have a future with.
Okay, so no, I wanted to ask you what, when you got with me or before you got with me, what was your
Okay.
expectations of a guy in a relationship? And when you got with me,
Okay.
how did that line up, or what did you have to adjust, or what did you have? What did
Okay.
you? I guess what did you? What did you have to adjust? What did you have to tolerate? What did you have
You're
to?
making it about me.
No, no, I'm not making it about you. Not or what did you have to learn that you thought was going to happen naturally, or you can summarize it.
That's what I thought I was doing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I mean, when you're looking for a spouse, everybody should have like a check off list of what they are looking for in a person. Are they saved? Are they living for God? Do they have a job? Do they have their own place? There's a list of things that we should go into when we're dating. We should have a list of things, at least in our mind, of what we're looking for in a person. Not saying they have to be perfect or check off every um, box off the list, but they should be meeting some of your expectations on the list. Like, I'll just give like an example, because I'm not going to give like a whole bunch of stuff. We'll be here all night. But like me, I wanted, when I was looking to for a spouse, I told God, I want somebody that is living for you, somebody that's saved. Because it's like, um, navigating that in the dating world, it sometimes can be a little tricky, because some people, they say they're saved, but then their actions are showing otherwise, or they just want to get come to church just because you're going to church, and it's like, that's not what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for someone who really has a relationship with God. I'm looking for someone that is, not saying they have to be perfect in Christ, but they should be growing. They should be. You should really see the person evolving with their relationship with God, and that was what I wanted. I didn't just want somebody that was just, they weren't, I knew what I wanted. I wanted somebody that was living for God. So that was like one of my top expectations for marriage. Also, a job, that's ideal, for the man to have a job. He doesn't have to be the richest man on the block, but something that can be able to provide, because what if the woman isn't working, or she has to, take a step back, maybe with kids or something like that? Is he still able to provide for the family? Are we able to, withstand that? Those are just some things that are very important to know. Does he have his own place, or are we able to afford to get a place together? That's also something else I think that's very important. As you're thinking of things to check off the list. And you said, was there things that I thought, but then it wasn't to my expectations?
Exactly. Or you
Um,
some things that you had to adjust. Some things that you had to adjust to um, when you got married versus you thought was going to happen, but you had to adjust. When you got married, something like that.
Okay.
So, for instance, like for instance, with me, I was used to, as a bachelor, sleeping in the living room watching TV till I fall asleep.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So, uh, watching TV till I fall asleep versus you wanted someone to come to bed, and one time it's like, are you going to come in? You watching ESPN? You sleep? Come watch it in And that's when I started having a TV in the room. So I didn't have a TV in the room. I had a TV in the living room. That was all. So I had to get used to that. Then I had like the sports stuff here. I had this all in the house.
Yeah,
and you said, you got to take your marathon medals down. And I'm like, no, why do I have to take my marathon medals down? You came over, you liked it when you were dating me. Well, we're not dating anymore. We're married and things like that. So I'm like, see what I'm saying? Yes. So I was like, so I had to struggle with that. That seems simple to some people, but this is my house. Struggle. I don't care if we moved in together. And no, my stuff need to be on the wall.
And not in the living room and stuff
so
like that.
I was living basically as a bachelor, even though I was adjusting to marriage. Yes. So that's one thing I had to struggle with.
I just something because I was trying to think of stuff as you were talking. Even like sometimes like when you come together and you get married, like sometimes like appliances or furniture, sometimes like you're bringing some of your stuff, he's bringing some of his stuff. What are we going to keep? What are we going to get rid of? Or sometimes are we just going to get new items and stuff? I know that was something like because some things like I had stuff, you had stuff, and it's like we don't need two blenders or we don't need to, this and that. So like kind of being able to go through that stuff was kind of like, okay. Trying to think what else.
That and different things in the bathroom, a lot of stuff on the counter where I didn't have no stuff on the counter. Certain
closet
things,
space,
had to adjust. Well, I prepared for that. I got a bigger bed in my house, from a twin bed to a queen size bed. Okay. Then I had to get a bigger dresser drawer, and I added clothes. And even now, here's another thing, tip, ladies, from a male perspective. And here's something from a male's perspective too as well. We know that you guys going to come. We know that you guys going to come with a lot of stuff. Because you have extra space in a closet or the drawer doesn't mean to buy more things to add in the said drawer, said closet, things like that. Because we have space, I deal with that when I used to work for the county. Teachers and people, because they have extra drawer space, they'll put it in the drawer, things like that. Well, that's where it's supposed to go. Well, how about not buying more stuff? How about if you're going to get something, donate something, give it away, throw it in the trash. We don't need, all this stuff. And so this is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, and they kind of fight, and it turns from a snowball into a mountain. And this is some of the things that have to be discussed prior to marriage. These things have to be discussed in premarital counseling. And premarital counseling is not for the ones that is because you're having problems. Is to address situations that you don't think about. Is be able to things for us. Where the kids are going to go to school. Are you going to have joint bank accounts? Or are you going to have separate bank accounts? Well, joint bank accounts. If your parents get sick, are you close to them? Are you expecting to move them in? Did you tell your significant other that? Borrowing money, giving money to friends and family. Are you going to tell your spouse about that? Even though it's your money, stuff like that, you need to be able to share or to acknowledge certain things like that. Knowing that, ladies, that even though you are a grown woman, you're outside of God, your husband is the de facto, and make decisions that you don't agree about, like, or don't understand. These are a lot of things that coming. Men know that women are emotional. They're going to cry. They're going to do certain things. So these are the expectations. Like, you got to suck this up. I know your mom passed, your dad passed, but I had the same thing, and we had to be more empathetic or sensitive, or what did I use the word right? Empathy, empathy, and things like that. We can get over stuff real quick. A lot of men can, versus some people it take a little bit longer to get out of the mood. So a lot of people think this is common, or people should know this, but a lot of people do not know this, and it hurts. And it hurts the chemistry of the relationship and the dynamic. And some people are scarred to the point that they don't trust them no more. They don't say nothing no more. They got their defensives up, and they don't share things with them. They share things with outside people, friends, extended family, co-workers, etc. I can't use this word. People, I hate that word. Go ahead. You had anything? I'm sorry.
Um, I would say when it comes to expectations, I would say that there's no perfect relationship. So um, relationships are going to have like arguments, disagreements, and things of that nature. And so we have to be able to argue in a respectful manner, have those disagreements in a respectful manner, not playing the blame game. Well, if you da 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 da, or or it's always your fault, or you never ya. There's certain like keywords that are like triggers to people, or people get more defensive when we all when we say, oh, you always do X, Y, and Z, or you never do that. So it's like we want to be able to have healthy disagreements as well. We should be able to bring our concerns to our spouse without them being offended or taking it the wrong way. But it's really about the how you come about it too. That plays a lot about the outcome of the situation too. If you come in a respectful manner, and you're doing it from a loving perspective, the other person should be able to receive that and be like, you know what, I hear what you're saying. I'll take heed to that, or I'll try to see if that's something I can work on. And it's okay to agree to disagree and still just be able to be okay with that, because there's times he may agree on something and I'm like, I don't quite agree with that, but it's okay, it is what it is type of thing. So it's okay to agree to disagree, but we shouldn't be having like big disputes that is hindering our relationships. And if you're hitting a spot in your relationship that you guys can't seem to figure out yourselves, then it's always good to get an outside resource that can be a benefit. Not saying everybody, make sure you know who you're going to. If you have like another godly couple, or a therapist or something like that, then you can go and use those avenues to kind of even help when areas in the relationship get a little rocky.
Yeah, and so what we got here? Read that for me.
Okay. It says, no one wants to, this is just a thought, that no one wants to share something deeply troubling in themselves with someone so close as a spouse, or apprehension of it being used against them at a later time. Okay, I understand with that. So yeah, it's very important. Like if your spouse is telling you something in confidence, or something that maybe they've gone through, or maybe some insecurities, maybe something that that occurred to them in their lives that has deeply affected them, and they share that with you, don't use that against them. Like, don't try to, maybe if you guys are like hitting a rough patch, well, that's why your daddy left you guys as whatever the case may be. Like, that's not the time to be trying to do low blows and all that kind of stuff. Because those are really, that's how you can really mess up your relationship too. You don't want to hit those, you don't want to bring up those low blow comments. That was a sensitive moment that the person brought it up to you, and they shared that with you. And you want your spouse to continue to be able to open up to you and share, those intimate things with you. But if you're going to go around and you're going to throw it in their face, or talk behind their back, throw it in their face when you're mad or whatever like that, you can't get mad when they don't want to open up to you in the future.
A lot of guys, and this is no bash on the women, but a lot of guys get this. This is why we don't open up to women. I was just telling someone earlier, not too long ago, about a book, Men Are Clams, Women Are Crowbars, by Dr. Phil Clark. Is a very good, that women are the crowbars and men are clams. When they first get together, men talk a lot, things like that. Later in a relationship, men don't talk no more, because we kind of lose interest, or we don't have that same joy when we first got in a relationship. And so the woman wants the guy to talk to them or open up. So what she do is force herself on the guy, and just like a crowbar, you can mess things up, hurt it, scuff it, break it, things like that. Instead of, I tell ladies, kind of stroke them in ego. We got egos, and sometimes we have insecurities, but you have to stroke a man ego. What's that sports thing on the wall? Or you mess with firearms. What kind of firearm is that? See his interest and then ask questions where he can open up to you. Just like a clown, when you give the clown a steaming, it's going to open up and show you the pearl of the Jews. So you just want the person to open up without hurting or damaging them from there too as well. And another thing is that men may say, I have a snoring problem or ED problem, erectile, dysfunction. So things like that. But then you tell somebody about that and stuff, and that's just my mother. But your mother told your father. Your father told things like that. And so that wasn't to go outside of this conversation, the bedroom or the house. So you have to watch that too as well. And those are some of the things that you have to set. I believe personally, I believe personally that relationships really don't start to gel until at least 8 to 10 years in. 8 to 10 years in, because most relationships last, marriages, 5 to 7 years. It used to be 3 to 5, 5 to 7 years, 8 to 10 years. 10 years, you should already have a good rotation, a good gelling. You know people tendencies. You know how they think. When they wake up grumpy or they need coffee or things like that. These are the things that you have to learn about a person. I believe you should learn things in the dating process. We as believers should be dating to marry, which should be called courting. Courting is getting information about the person to learn to see, hey, am I wasting my time here? Or I'm going to give this a go and go from there and say, yes, I'm going to commit to you long term. Or if you say, do you want me to commit to you? I will say yes or no. And so a lot of people waste time not understanding you're in this dating mode just to get information on a person, to see it, and waste time. So
now,
go ahead.
I would say this too. Now, here's something that you can also, that's also important for, I guess, men or women. Now, if you're trying to get information out the person, but the other person is not really trying to get a lot of information out of you, that might be telling you something too, that maybe that person is not really in it for the right reasons, meaning they don't care to know much about you. All they probably want to do is just lay down with you, or they just want certain things out of you. So, it's good to just be mindful of little things. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but there's certain things it's like, you know what, you don't never ask me about, about myself or what I like. I'm always asking you about this, that, and the other. It's like, It's almost like it's a one-sided relationship. And some people get caught up in that too. And they get so caught up in it that one person end up liking one person more than the other person. And it's like, there's certain things we should be able to kind of notice early on. It shouldn't take years and years and years to start noticing stuff when it's like, when you've wasted so much time. Like, does this person really want to be with me? Does this person really see a future with me? It's like, there's certain things that you will start to observe. Like, you know what? They don't like to come around my family, or they're afraid to show me off, or they don't never do X, Y, and Z. It's like, maybe this person don't want to be with you as much as you want to be with them. So that's always something to keep in mind too when you're dating a person. It's good to just be real observant, of others when you're dating.
And well, that kind of reflects you. If you feel a certain way, you need to express it. Understand that no one is going to, no one is not going to
be like a mind reader.
Yes, and no one is not going to tell you what you probably already feel and know. So you need to say it.
Yeah.
The longer you say it, the more you will be upset, and you're going to feel they should already know this. They should say this.
The longer you wait.
The longer you wait. Thank you very much. The longer you wait, and a lot of people are not understanding this. So that being said, you have to look at relationships like a business, like a corporation. especially the man. You are the CEO. Who you choose is going to be the CFO. Who you making product is your children or what you're building together towards. And any little thing, if you choose the person wrong as a man, that reflects your decision. I said that earlier today. Ladies, if you say yes to a man that don't know what he's doing or direction and things like that, that reflects your decision of saying yes. I believe personally women shouldn't choose their man personally. That's a controversial take to a lot of people. Why do I say that? I say that because that they pick poorly in general, meaning most of them. If you have a healthy father in your life, not a yes father, but a healthy father, or you may not, or and especially a godly father, or if he's not a godly man, go to a godly man. You should, hey, daddy, can you meet Maurice? I need you, things like our uncle or stepfather or godfather or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are a born again believer and you in a church, the preacher should meet your man, okay, too as well. Because if you're going to marry, and he shouldn't meet him after you got engaged. He should meet him if you had sex and got pregnant. He should meet him before, because I'm going to look him up and down, say, he ain't ready, he ain't saved, he doing other things. That's what a father would say if he's a straight father in your life. But if you don't have that, go to the man of God. We have a lot of ladies that's in the church, but they choose wrong and they're single or they're single mothers, and it's an indictment on them and their faith. So you need to be able to have someone to help you choose, because men, we can finesse a lot of things. We can prolong. We can waste a lot of your time too as well. And you don't want that too as well. So you need someone to help address that too as well. And that's part of expectations, because their expectations may not be your expectations. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do not ask, what is your expectations for me? Where do you see me, us in a couple of years, 3 years? Mm-hmm. Do you see children? Do you see marriage first? Do you see children? Are you moving? Do you get in business? Are you going back to school? What do you say? What is your expectations for the relationship and things like that? You don't know. I don't know. We vibing now. We go as we go. That don't mean nothing. That mean mumbo jumbo. So, okay.
I was gonna say too. People, when they're dating and stuff like that, they can give a lot of talk. Like, people give a lot of stuff that they want you to hear. Now, I would say that if they words and their actions are not lining up, there you go, right? Because a lot of times people can tell you just what you want to hear. They know, well, if I say this to her, that'll get her off my back a little bit, or she'll kind of back, whatever the case may be, or I'll just tell her what she want to hear. So, she'll think I'm, whatever the case may be, vice versa too. But if that person is not backing that up with some type of action, don't take their words seriously. Make sure that what they're telling you, they are able to back that up. Now, if granted, things may happen too, where they may say something and then things happen. Of course, we understand that. But a lot of times too, don't just go off of what a person is saying. So they can tell you the world, but if they're not showing that to you, because somebody be like, yeah, I'm gonna marry you. Yeah, I love you. I'm this and that. But years and years has passed and y'all still ain't married. Years and years have passed. And this and that ain't happening. You just you just basically ran with the words that they were saying and didn't really see no action. And you were expecting that, but nothing came, So it's like, you got to make sure that your words and your actions are lining up.
We have a comment here, says, how do you work through issues that are made in a relationship? What is the best way to forgive and move? You should have watched our Bible study Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We had that for Bible study Tuesday. And I'm going to send you this. We talked about, because a lot of people may ask each other for forgiveness, but never ask God for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Some people may ask, Lord, I'm sorry what I said to her, or I'm sorry what I said to them, but never go to them and tell them, mm-hmm. I'm sorry. It depends on what the issue is, number one, mm-hmm. okay, to work through, because certain issues is not just, hey, I'm sorry. We
mm-hmm.
not right there. Some things that You told your parents what? You told your homeboy or your homegirl what? You gave how much money to them? You bought a motorcycle. I mean, certain things you did. You slept with who? So depending upon the situation, that's for starters. Yes. Certain things are not going to be cut and dry overnight. Mm-hmm. The second part of what you said is what is the best way to forgive and move on. As some people will say, man, this Tuesday Bible study, you can forgive someone, mm-hmm. but you won't forget. However, biblically, when Christ forgave us, he do it in the sea of forgetfulness. However, I tell people it's not that we're forgetting. Well, some people just don't forget and they bring it back up. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not true forgiveness. But I'm not going to lay my purse around or my wallet around when I know someone stole from me to put them in a position to do it again. Mm-hmm. I know what they did, so I'm not going to bring it up to them, but I'm just going to
be more observant,
be mm-hmm. mindful of my wallet or whatever, mm-hmm. or me saying something that will offend my spouse or my mm-hmm. significant other in front of families. Mm-hmm. Like Maurice have a snoring problem. He have athlete's foot, it smell and things like that. I need to watch what I say in front of certain people because that's mm-hmm. rude, disrespectful, and that's mm-hmm. private. That should not be. And I believe if you did something publicly, you need to apologize publicly. Mm-hmm. You did something privately, you need to apologize privately.
That's hard for a lot of people to do,
yes.
especially that public thing.
Yes, mm-hmm. it is, and I've been there. However, you have to make it right same way you had that same energy. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell people, when you come to the Lord, just like you wanted that promotion, just like you wanted that date, that job, those sneakers, that video game, that car, use that same energy to come to church, praise God, read your Bible, fellowship with saints, have a prayer life, come to prayer. That same energy. Most people don't have that same energy, but you have to show that. So you can ask for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. That's your job. It's up to the person now to accept receive mm-hmm. that forgiveness. Accept. Some people may not accept right away, but you did your job. Here's the thing to that: when you ask for forgiveness, hey, I'm sorry. I did that or I said that, but I just want to say I'm sorry. That's not a true, sincere apology. Mm-hmm. Not with attitude, not with sass or a take it or leave it. That's not an apology.
Or I'm sorry you felt that way.
Yeah, and how you felt it, mm-hmm. that way too as well. Here's the thing, another flip side to that. I'm not here to grovel. Some people want you to grovel and then I accept your apology or things like that. No, I'm sincere. I'm remorseful. I know I haven't did that again because when that hurts you, that hurts me. And, mm-hmm. I'm just leave it there. Hopefully I can show you over time with my trust to mm-hmm. gain that again, because you're not going to get that automatically. But I did accept your apology or what. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that was good. What's going on, Links? Shout out to Links.
And sometimes we have to give the person time to heal too. So just because we forgive, like I think you did kind of brush on a little bit, doesn't mean that they're going to forgive you right that second. So sometimes people just need a little bit of time, and then they'll come around. If they know the genuineness of your
depending upon the situation.
Yes, like I said, that's what I'm saying. It won't. Some stuff ain't going to happen overnight. If you did something really, you need to give that person some time to really take everything in. So then we had another comment.
What is this?
It's betrayal as small as that poisons everything. So betrayal is a big thing in relationships. Especially because it's this is your person, your spouse is your person. You guys are supposed to be linked together. Mm-hmm. You guys are one, So it's once somebody betrays you, that breaks that trust, that breaks that bond. And it's you're trying to put that bond back together. You're trying to bridge that gap back together. And it's can we ever get back to where we were? And, that really depends on the betrayal too. Some people never bounce back from that. Some people are really hurt to the point where they're I can't do this anymore. So it's also, so it's good to be mindful of, what we're doing to our spouse, because there's some things that we do that really hurts them to the core and some things they're not able to bounce back from. It takes God to make that, happen again. But it's important to, not to try to do things that detrimental in your relationship. We're not enemies. We're not saying we have to always be, the best of friends are always on the same page, but we should never be out to get each other. We should never be out to. We should always have each other's best interests at heart as much as possible. Even though we may, get on each other's nerves or this, that, and the other, it should never get to a point where, you're betraying the person, or you're telling them I hate you, or you're doing conniving stuff, or you're just doing really hurtful things to really like hurt that person. And another thing too, when a person hurts you, that doesn't give you the opportunity to go back and hurt them. And people do that. Oh, well, you slept with X, Y, and Z. Well, I went over here and slept with this person. What's the point of that? The whole point is, if you guys are forgiving each other, you're forgiven. You don't have to like do a tit for tat, or, well, you did that, so I'm gonna do this. It's like we're playing a game of like cat and mouse here. We're not here for that, and it's like that's just going to be an ongoing thing. And where are you getting? Nowhere.
The goal of the situation is hopefully to have start a good relationship, friendship, kinship, to have a strong foundation to hopefully lead to everlasting marriage. I've been on a lot of streams, podcasts, different panels where a lot of people are at each other's throats, and we talk about the worst of relationships and the bad part of men and women. But there are some good part of men and women. There are some things that we need to look to, because if that's the case, we need to stay single to ourselves, and when I mean single, that means not dating, not having sex, no, nothing. Stay over there and hang with brothers, stay over there and hang with sisters. And the thing is that a lot of people want to have their cake and eat it too. They don't want the commitment, but they want the companionship, the intimacy, the sex and stuff like that. And we don't roll, especially as believers, we don't roll like that, okay? Now, if I'm not a believer, if I was in the world, my mindset would be like that too. I can get more bang for my buck. I can marry the cow before married. I can get the milk free, not marry the cow. I can get free dinners from guys that don't commit to him or lead him on and things like that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people's feelings and emotions is in the way. A lot of men that work hard, that really want to trust a woman and be with her, but then she turns around and seduce me, or just use me for my money. There's guys that use women to lay down with them, and I believe it's both parties' obligation to let that known. Like, look, I'm not here to be a wallet. I'm not here to lay down. I'm not here to lay down with you just to have a good time, because not only I can come up with a kid and you can come up being a parent, you can come up with a disease. And so I want to have a true relationship that we could be upfront and honest with each other, even coming from different backgrounds. I believe if you look, if you really, you're never going to know the person truly until you get in a living marriage situation for them. And even then, you're not going to learn a lot of things from it. It's not the point of learning everything about that person. It's learning how to work together and to know your differences that will kind of bring you together and make a whole. That's where Christ comes in in the center of that. Now, we had a song like Brother Alvin. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. What is he saying? He's quoting scripture. What was that?
Yeah. So basically, like, if you're upset, don't go to bed angry, like as spouses and stuff. That's easier said than done,
Right.
But but try to talk to God before you go to bed. I would say if you're upset, pray to God, like, God, ease my heart. Like, Lord, I'm still bothered by what happened, but temper me some so I'm not as upset, because we technically don't want to go to bed like real angry. That's not what God wants us to do. So he does want us to be able to calm ourselves down, maybe have some quiet time with him, gather ourselves. Not saying that you got to turn over and forget what just happened, but you shouldn't be like still at 100, going to bed. Basically, you should be, as time is going on, God should be softening your heart a little bit, because eventually you're going to have to come back and have that conversation with your spouse. You're going to have to come back and still finish that conversation, whatever, transpired. So.
And this came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is in the discussions, heated arguments,
Mm-hmm.
Or disagreements. I'd rather like to say that.
Okay.
One of the things is, don't come around, guys, and try to ask for some nookie later on. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. All right. Another thing is, ladies,
Mm-hmm.
don't try to withhold something that men have a right to have. Because if you do, don't get mad if you get it somewhere else. And don't say, well, you don't supposed to do that. God, he would deal with God on that and talk to God. But at the same time, you forfeit certain things when you withhold things from him. Okay? That's not for you to withhold. The Bible says your body is not your own, but the husband's. His body is not his own, but the wife. And that being said, yes, when things are messed up, and if the guy messed up, hey, right now I'm not feeling it. We were talking things like that, but that shouldn't linger on a week, 2, 3 months, things like that. Or if you don't do this, or you went out with your friends, or you took your mom's side before me, that you cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then expect the person to be loyal for that. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say that, because a lot of people have experienced that and done that, mm-hmm. and then get upset when someone go left on them. You can't get mad at them going left. That's like me saying, that's like me not getting my dinner, but then you get mad when I bring my mother over to cook, or I go out and get something to eat, mm-hmm. things like that. Or I bring a woman in the house and clean the house where it was dirty, where mm-hmm. things like that. So, same thing. Men fix cars, take out trash, mow the grass. If not, I'm gonna get a lawnmower. I'm gonna get a mechanic. Take it if you don't know how to fix it. So these are the things that we talk about. And here's another thing. I believe when couples get to the point of marriage, mm-hmm. they need to have support-based couples. Mm-hmm. Not just your mama and daddy. And if they're not a believer, I would not go to them. I don't care how long they've been married. I believe you need to go to a seasoned couple. Okay. I believe you should go to a neutral couple. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the couple that is there for the sanctity of the relationship, mm-hmm. not either side. Mm-hmm. So that being said, make sure, that person you guys either don't know or you both respect. Mm-hmm. Either or. Not my homeboy, my brother, my mother. If they're good and they show evidence of it, mm-hmm. okay, by all means.
But don't just get somebody who is just gonna pick your side. Yes. Basically, it's no, you want somebody that if you wrong, they're gonna tell you. If you're wrong, they're gonna tell you. They're not biased or anything like that.
Yes.
So
and a lot of people want that. We've seen a lot of couples, especially during the pandemic, from 2020 on to like 2023, mm-hmm. and most of the people that came to me to mentor them, counsel them, help them in their relationship, rather, they were the problem. The ones that came to me, because basically they came with the wrong motive. They came to help validate what they wanted versus what's the problem in a relationship. And so we need to look at what's the problem in a relationship versus just what you want, because the other person have to hear their side and what they're saying, mm-hmm. and what they may say be contrary to you and may share something that you didn't want shared, or that you do that you didn't want out there. So again, it's for the betterment of the relationship. People have expectations coming into a relationship and marriage, mm-hmm. or how their parents did it, or how their grandparents did it. We're not your parents. We're not your grandparents. We are two different people than them, and we're going to do things differently, whether they're believers or not. Some things, due to the times, we don't have to do said situation no more, or things. And so always keep that in mind and remember that too as well. You want to, it's not about happy wife, happy life. Sometimes I say happy king, happy kingdom. But as you can say happy spouse, happy house. That is better, number one. But number two is when you don't worry about yourself and make sure the person you with, what they need and serving them, they should be able to return that to you. Remember, it's a good book that most people probably read by Gary Chapman called The 5 Love Language. Most people don't understand when reading that book that when you discover your love language, they're not going to have the same love language as you. So what you do, like I want affirmation, so I give her affirmation. Well, she's not going to give me, because I give her affirmation, that means that I may not get it back because I gave it to her. She have to learn that's what get on my, that's how you get to me is you compliment me, right? Her love language is acts of service. Now, I don't care about acts of service, but I learned that's her love language, that I have to be able to get to her heart by serving her. So these are one of the things that we must learn about each other or share with each other. Like, look, a brother likes some compliments sometimes. Hey, you took out the trash. Thank you for filling the car, washing the car, things like that. A girl wanted to be pampered. She wanted to be, hey, honey, get dressed at 6 o'clock. We're going out. Wear something a little classy, things like that. Bring some flats too. We may do some walking, as well as your heels. We're going out. Don't just sit back. I already have reservations here. After here, we're going to go there and things like that. So you just sit back and then let me do my thing and things like that. So that's the act of service. I don't really like doing that, but she liked that. So I have to take that just like for the team. So that being said, you never know. And what you wanted, that will come easily for them to do for you. Unfortunately, people want finished products in a person. A lot of people want that people should already know this, and people don't know this. People probably never saw this in their house. Well, people probably don't even have 2 parents in their household or never saw this if they did have it. So these are the things, even though most people didn't see it from their parents, they always say their grandparents, but you didn't do what your grandparents did. You didn't get married young. You wasn't probably a virgin. You didn't work a job and honor her. And things. So a lot of things they did, you didn't do, but you want the benefits of that. This is where a conversation comes in play and say, look, this is what I can do. This is my strengths. This is what I like to do. So I just wanted to say that. Did you have something? I'm sorry about that.
I was gonna say,
and you guys have any questions, comments, put them in, type them in, or if you guys even want to call in, I'll give you my number. You guys can call in there. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, and even when you're, your expectations, like for marriage and stuff, like how you got your spouse, that's how you're gonna keep them. So a lot of times people get complacent in a relationship or in a marriage. They get comfortable. We've all been there, right? Sometimes, but we have to really remember too, like, when we first got together, what were things that we were doing? Maybe we would go on dates every so often, Sometimes when people are seasoned in their marriage and stuff, the date nights, they're like a mystery now, It's like, date night, what? What's that? But it's like you still want to keep your marriage alive. You still want to keep the relationship flourishing. So, you don't want to just, because life happens, you have kids or, you're working and this, that, and the other, that you still don't make time for each other. So that quality time is definitely important because if not, that's how a lot of couples too, they kind of just break apart or they become just basically roommates in their own home because they're not spending that quality time it's like so you still have to still make the time for that, the time for time for each other. Even though life is getting busy or things are changing in life, you may not be able to do it as much as you used to, but you still need to put some time and effort. Like, okay, you know what? We're both free Friday night at 8 or whatever the case may be. We're going to do something that night. I'll get a babysitter, whatever the case may be. So you want to always make sure that you still, set that time. And not saying you always have to be going out somewhere, but you can just spend time even at home or something simple where it doesn't, funds are a little thin or whatever like that. There's all kind of things that you can do to spend quality time. You don't have to always use money as an issue. Well, we don't have money to do nothing. There's stuff you can do that don't cost a lot of money. So that's just an excuse. The whole point is that we are spending time together. And the more you continue to spend that time together, that continues to make your relationship keep it solid. It keeps it, because you don't want the enemy to creep in or somebody else, somebody at work is complimenting you or they, whatever the case may be, but you're not getting that at home or whatever the case. So you want to make sure that you still make that time for one another to let that person know, I still want to be with you. I still want to spend time with you. I'm not trying to avoid you, things like that. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
A lot of things. One of the things when I got married, I learned before I got married to my wife, I wanted to. When she went away on what am I trying to say? On a family reunion, just for a week, I wanted to be around her, and I was like, man, her grandmother said she was gone. I said, I know she's gone. I want to build a closet for her. She had a lot of clothes, but
most women do have more clothes.
Yes, we need to give some to Goodwill.
I do.
However, when she came back, she called me and she's like, thank you. I'm like, what do you thank you for? You give me a closet, my clothes and things like that. Extra closet. I appreciate that and things. And it was cool. And so I went to see, she came over. We was going out to dinner later. And when I asked her to marry me, I proposed in my apartment that we lived in. And, that's one of the things that I felt, we didn't have a lot. I made good money at the time, but I was living in a terrible neighborhood, and we stayed there a short period of time before we got our first house. And I look back on that like I was telling someone today, and we should be living in progression. That don't mean that, women want men. I always say sometimes when most women are gold diggers, they just hide the shovel. It's, I want an ambitious man. That means I want men some men, ladies, you're not gonna. A man is not gonna be ambitious. He's gonna like the 9-to-5 job he have. He's not gonna want to go back to school. He's not gonna want to go back to school. You should be able to like and appreciate the man that he is. You cannot change him. He's going to improve a little bit. He may decrease a little bit, but you have to accept that, or you need to let him go. Do not nag him, too, as well. And so I appreciate the woman my wife allowed me to be. For one, I'm very outspoken. I'm straight and direct. I can rub people the wrong way. I know that. She had to know that. And I stand on my square. And if I'm out of pocket, I'm out of pocket. I'm into my room. That's what integrity men should have. I believe all men should have that. But a lot of men is always in between something, in trouble, lacking certain things, so they can't talk a certain way. They don't want to lose. They're afraid to lose certain things. And sometimes you have to be not afraid to lose something to be able to respect and gain it or appreciate it. And so I appreciate her over the years, allowing me to be me, and had to learn to let her be her. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I had to learn too, that she's going to be for me. And some of the things she was real green and too nice for me. Like, I never experienced this. So sometimes I would just pick something, like just to start something. But, to appreciate that, let God learn to appreciate what you have. Don't damage what you got, because someone else would appreciate what you have. Not having it And then if you lose it, then you are regretting what you had in the first place. Now, a lot of women give a lot of bad information to women, like, "Girl, you should that's his loss," and things like that. Not understanding, you listening to someone that is probably not married, no kids in the right way, or no evidence of production. I don't listen to men that that is not where I'm trying to go. You're not married. You're not kids. I'm not listening to you. You don't own a house, and I'm trying to own a house. I'm not listening to you. Yes, you can teach me what you lost or what you didn't have for a long time. I want to listen to someone that had it and sustain it, and that comes with a relationship too. And so, that being said, it's not about henpeck. It's not about he's dominating you. It's about how is it working. Granted, we have different households, but if you are a believer, we live by the same code. And the same code is the word of God to keep us sustained. Now, sometimes we don't want to hear that. We know we're wrong. Or we are in our mood. But after that, we need to come out and say, "I'm sorry. I love you. I appreciate you. Um, I'm glad you're the one I got. I'm not comparing you to no other woman. You're not comparing me to no other man." And that's another thing. A lot of people see other people and compare them to their friends, or their parents, or another guy that they work with, or another girl that they see. I'm not your coworker. You don't know who they are beyond home. I'm not your parents. They're 30, 40 years ahead of us, and they already established. So that's another expectation. They're not going to already be like that when as you get with them, knowing that you have to have patience with them. So I just wanted to say that too. I was going to say something else, but I lost my train of thought. I don't know if you had anything, honey, uh, for there.
Well, I guess what's coming to my mind is like expectations for when you're for being married. Um, I always say it's important to remember for the married couples out there and those that when you get married, remember your vows that you take. Some people they just say them because that's like a tradition. Oh, till death do us part, sickness and health. And it's like people, richer and poor. People just say it as a ritual, but it's like, do you really understand what that really means? And people are quick to just jump out of relationships, when the spouse is getting sick, you know, or when the spouse loses their job, or, it's like in relationships, the road is going to get bumpy sometimes. It's not always just smooth sailing all the way through. So it's like, if somebody loses their job, are you guys still able to hold it together as a couple? Or are you guys going to be at each other's necks because the one spouse is not working right now, or whatever the case may be, or the other the spouse becomes sickly, and so they're not able to do certain things like they used to? Are you still going to stick by that spouse, or are you just going to bail ship on them and just get the next best thing that's available? So it's like, this is a long haul thing. It's not just a temporary thing. So it's like, when you're looking to be married in a long-term relationship, this is like really what you got to consider. Like, if this person were to be diagnosed with something today, am I still going to be by their side? Do I love them that much to stand by their side? If, or whatever the case may be, they lose their job, it wasn't their fault, or whatever the case may be, you know, am I still going to be loving and still treat them the same as, whatever the case may be? So, we really got to make sure that we consider what our vows are too, and take them very seriously in our relationships.
Okay.
Let's see.
I don't know what's going on with the rumble.
Okay.
What's going on with the rumble? Okay. Did you have anything?
I'm just looking to see, was there anything else that we...
Okay. So I just again, one of the things we wanted to come on here is to give expectations in relationship and in marriage. And these are the times that if you're not married, you should be talking about prior to marriage. And if you want to get married, I believe a person, if you're not engaged uh, in 12 months, if not married, you're wasting your time. I believe if you want to get engaged in 6 months or married in 6 months, I believe no, there are no times. Some people meet on first dates and get married. Now, they take a risk because they learn each other and just do things. But I think if you have some common general foundational things in common, like we both love the Lord, we both want to be like married, we both want children, we both want to serve the Lord and raising our children, we both want to live in a certain state, share bank accounts, things like that. I think that's good. Everything else can be worked out because if the Lord is centered, then you will go to the Word for any discrepancies and foundations and remember what you got into. Now, understand what you jump into. I would recommend, even if you got together a week, 3 months, or a year, see someone, sit down with someone, and then they can bring what you're feeling and what you're saying together. Married, if you're already married, I believe you should have common relation. You should have a fluid conversation with each other on a regular basis. Especially have tough conversations. I believe the couple that have the tough conversations, their relationships, they have the best relationships. Now, one spouse may not want to talk about it right now. One spouse may want to talk about it right now. You guys going to have a common ground to say, okay, I don't want to talk about it today, but can we do it tomorrow at this time or at the end of the week or something like that? But do not prolong it just to say, oh man, they want to talk about it again. I don't want to hear their mouth and things like that. It's one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to handle things right now. She wanted to talk about things later. And a lot of things I forced that I could have waited, and a lot of things I waited that we could have handled in the beginning. So we had to come to common ground to say, okay, what are we going to do here? And if you're caring about one another, understanding you're caring about your relationship. You're caring about your relationship. So you want to have tough conversations. For instance, if I'm in a hospital in a coma, I don't want to be resuscitated. If you want to do it, you can do it. I don't want to be resuscitated. Number two, I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated. But if you want to bury me, bury me. Number three, if something was to happen to me, don't give nothing to my family. I want you to keep it, give it to our kids, or give it, to whoever you want. Okay. These are my wishes, but if you kind of usurp them, that's on you. But this is part of my wishes. And that's what, like, if I was to say this to her, all right, it's up to her to do it, or vice versa. This is her wishes, but I have the autonomy to do it. But if I still want to just honor her, I would do what she want me to do. So we need to have those tough conversations. Do we have life insurance? I believe if you get married, you should already have life insurance or get it on one another. I believe the man of nothing else should have life insurance because generally men, we die before our wives. So if we die, they should have something that they can bounce back. If they have life insurance, we should be on it. We should be first on it. It should not be their parents. It should not be their kids. It should be us first, vice versa. Number three, the life insurance shouldn't be just only through your job. It should be through, New York Life, for AAA, things like that. Because if you stop working there, if you go somewhere else or you're sick and things like that, you off, you want to still have somewhere else too as well. Not just job insurance, but a term or a universal a life insurance too as well. It should be, if you own a house, it should be similar to how much the house is, or at least half of what the house is, and anything to keep you afloat until that time. These are the things I think about when like if something was to happen to me if my wife was here. I'd be a fool not to have life insurance, especially her having my kids. too as well. She don't have to rely on her family. She don't have to rely on another man. If she get with someone, it will be just a bonus, and she can take care of herself too as well. We should be able to have access to both joint accounts. She have a separate bank account. I have a separate bank account, but we have everything go on our joint bank account first, and then it goes out. If you have $40,000 over there and we struggle, I'm pulling from there. If I have some money over here, you should pull from here if you're doing the finance and things like that. It's nothing that you hide. It's not my money. No, we ain't doing that here. All right. So I was telling them about life insurance, telling them having joint bank accounts. Both people on the life insurance policy, not just through your job, but like New York Life. I forgot the other one we had.
American Fidelity.
I was thinking of Fidelity.
Well, that's still your job.
Yeah. AAA, New York Life. It was other American Eagle. That's out in Texas, Houston, Texas.
Yeah, there's different ones.
Different ones. Those are good ones that I just named. Too. So it was another one we had. Man, I forgot that one. I forgot. It's in the safe. I forgot it. Anyway, those are the things that we should be talking about. Hey, Maurice, my mother, I'm her older child. I'm the only child. Or when she gets sick, I want us to come live with her. We need to talk about that before we get married, because I don't want nobody to come to my house that I have to take care of. So there's a discrepancy, or things like that, or my dad, or stuff like that. These are something we have to talk about. My mom, when she was ill, even though I could have brought her in, Jennifer wouldn't have said nothing, but I talked to her like, hey, my siblings, they ain't doing nothing right. My mother can't go back to her house. We brought her in. Me and her didn't get along. Then my mother ended up leaving. But I was the one that when she passed, the responsibility fell on me, which is us. And that was a lot of things. And she did not give me she didn't give me no flack for that. Like, man, what's going on with your sibling, things like that. She understood what time it was. Just handle business, Maurice, and go from there. And you need a partner like that too as well, to be that understanding. Did we have any more questions? Did you have anything, honey? I just wanted to say that.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. One of the things, where am I at? Okay. I'm sorry about that. One of the things, again, is what is you guys' end goal? Are you guys just having fun? Are you truly dating to marriage? Are you asking the right questions? Are you making the every time you see each other count? You got to think about that. You got to think about your age. You got to think about if you want kids. You got to think about, how long you want to be able to associate with this person before it's being too long before they make a move. Again, one of the greatest investments outside of giving your life to God and living for Him is the person you choose to be with in your life. Because out of that, if it comes children, that's going to be a product of you and that other person. And if you regret that, you don't see that, you don't need to entertain that. And it's good to say, we're not compatible, I'm not feeling this, and walk away, and people will be heartbroken and upset, versus you getting into it and you invest more, that it becomes a problem later. So we must realize what we are invested in. A lot of people got together because they got pregnant, they didn't want to pay child support, we were together a long time, our parents pressured us, and those are not the right reasons or the best foundation to build on. You want to come together because you care about one another, you have similar interests. The most interest you have is the Lord-centered, hopefully, or other things that you can build off of. And when you do that, it will feel like, not a job, but over time. I didn't know I was going to be with her this long. I thought personally, even if I being in the church, I thought we wasn't going to last as long. especially with me. I half of this time I thought I wasn't gonna get this because part of me I know how I was and I was trying to live for the Lord better, but a lot of times the old person will resurrect in me. And sometimes you would learn something about yourself in a situation, living with someone, talking to someone that you would never say or do. So, and that's another thing, saying stuff that you can regret later and that can hurt the person to scar them for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what you say because bullets words do hurt, and they're like bullets and they can scar a person, not just a woman, but men. We get hurt too, ladies. And you saying something talking about us, ego, we have a small Johnson, or you don't make that much money, or I make more than you, or where you came from, that hurts us as well. And so we must understand that if you're hurting me, you're not helping, and you don't care about me, because if you were with me when I hurt, you should hurt, and if you hurt, I should hurt. We must understand that, because are we uh, love mates or enemies? And if we are enemies, we need to get far away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, do not waste time with a person that is not trying to invest with you. I say that again. Do not try to waste time with a person that is not, yeah, they may say, yeah, I want kids. Yeah, I see myself getting married. No. Do you want to get married now? Do you want to get married in 6 months or a year? I don't know. No problem. I'm going to go my way. All right. This is something we must not be afraid and be straight and clear and concise in what you want to say. Not forcing yourself on someone, but having the person understand I'm dealing with you with intentions. Hopefully you feel the same. And my expectations, hopefully you have some for me that we can gel together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to get out of here just in a few minutes. So I'm going to take this right here. It hurts us more than women realize. Yeah, yes, it does. Some ladies don't understand that. Some do. Some don't understand that because you can say, one, they're not a male, but two, the misconception is that because we're a man, we're more tolerated. We're supposed to be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
We don't cry. No, we do cry. It's not whining, but we hurt and we may express our emotions in another way. Punching bag, going to the gym. We may, share some tears to our brother, our buddy, our father, man of God, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love men's prayer. We have men's prayer on Thursdays. A lot of men share with a lot of men and things like that. A lot of men share with me personally, and it hurt. And well, I didn't think that was a big deal. Maurice, you say that you just told me that I'm not a good performer. You told me that I had a shrimp. You told me that you make more money than me, so I can't tell you that. That is damaging to a man. And so, ladies, that's something like a scar to us. Same thing if it was saying, my mama cooked better than you. I wish she was alive today. Or the girl I used to be with knew how to satisfy me. She had a Coke bottle shape. Those things are not, the best. So we are here to help one another. We're here to have expectations with one another. We're here to love one another. We're here to show our children we love one another. And we are here to profess Christ, to show the world, family members and friends alike, that we can coexist in this time atmosphere of this climate and still love each other and be together for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the goals of us as believers. And I pray that you guys have that same goal. And yeah, that's part of having expectations for marriage. You had anything before we close up, honey?
I'll just say this, that um, when we are thinking of our expectations, we want to make sure that they are realistic expectations. Because some people have expectations that are too high, some people have expectations that are unrealistic. So you want to make sure that the expectations that you bring into the table are that person, the person you're seeing to be your spouse, is able to meet those expectations. You can't expect them to meet expectations that are way above, where they can even reach. So we want to make sure that the expectations are where that are reachable. We want our expectations to be reachable. That whoever we're with, they should be able to reach those expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind, because sometimes some expectations are way up here, and it's like you're never going to find that, or that's a dime a dozen to get that, or you got to be doing this to get that. So it's like we got to make sure that our expectations are realistic, and pray about it. If you don't know what your expectations are, what you're looking for, seek God. Like, God, what is it that I need in a spouse? Or God, help me better understand what my values are, or what I'm looking for in a spouse. You don't have to just take the first thing that says hi to you, or, oh, can I take you out on a date? If you already can see that they're not worth their salt, you don't have to give out your number. So you want to make sure that your worth as a person, and that your expectations are that meet your standards, that are reachable, and making sure, because some people, they just feel like, oh well, I can't do better, or I'm only taking X, Y, and Z. But no, if you're living for God and you've been praying, God has someone out there for you. God knows just what you need. So you don't have to just take leftovers or take what people throw to you too. So no, no, if you're living for God, what God has for you, it is for you. And God has the best for us, as long as we are delighting ourselves in Him, right? He will give us the desires of our hearts.
Amen to that. I wanted to say that I love you. I appreciate you, and hopefully we can do another 17, 18 years together, even longer. A lot of people have done that today. I was just telling my good friend Napoleon that, when the baby boomers get off the scene in their marriages and their past, they are, it's going to be way under 50%. Right now, it's only 49% of people in this country married. But it fluctuates between 49 and 51%. I think it's under 50%, or tied 50-50 for the first time in history. Mm-hmm. However, and we're not talking about common law marriage. We're not talking about living partners. We're not talking about we've been together for 20 years, but we're not legally married. We talk about if you're not legally married, no problem. Are you married through the church? No, you're just living together and say we just have no, that's not marriage. Okay. You can be not legally married through the state. I don't mind that. And I believe God don't mind that, because if you do it through a ceremony fellowship, that's what counts as well. However, what I was trying to say, my train of thought, the goal is not only to get married, but stay married, and to be able to honor God within that. And know there's going to be some times that you're going to take a loss within the marriage, in a conversation, in a to have to take certain things for the team. And so the goal is not about happiness, because marriage and relationship not about your happiness. It's about duty. And this is one of the things I'm glad that I remember to stress on with ladies. Marriage is not about your happiness, because your happiness could be up and down one day. We as believers, our happiness can come and go, but as long as we have joy in the Lord, that's what counts. I can make her happy every day. Maybe get some flowers today, say something bad tomorrow, go out to dinner today, buy some shoes tomorrow, things like that. She can't satisfy me. I think I tell ladies, sexually, you cannot satisfy a man all the time. All right. For that moment, yes, maybe. Then next day he won't do it again. As you get older in relationships, you're not going to be thinking about that every day. However, just be satisfied and appreciate what you're getting for one another. It's not being grateful and thankful. I am thankful, but it's not that you're doing each other a favor. You're doing your job for one another. You're loving one another. So I wanted to keep that, say that before we get out of here. We love you guys for joining. Hopefully, you guys tune in for service tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific time, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central Standard Time, and to join us right here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Rumble, and what I was going to say. If you're in person in Loma Linda, we are here. In the Loma Linda Redlands area, we are here. So we thank you guys for joining us. I want to pray us out. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to my brother, brother Allen, and brother Davis too as well. Alvin too as well, and Sister Jasmine that was with us tonight. Hopefully these people can watch it later. I know a lot of people on X. You guys was on here. Thank you very much. We got close to 40 of you guys watching from X. So I thank you guys for sharing it, posting it. But come to church and fellowship tomorrow. If you're not going to church in person, you can fellowship with us. Tomorrow you hear a young preacher give the word of God. It's going to step on some toes tomorrow because I'm talking about people in the church that say they have a relationship, that say they grew up in the church in a relationship with God, but not living as such. And we're going to talk about that. Similar to that, I'm kind of giving you a snippet of my message for tomorrow, and hopefully you guys can tune in and watch for us. We thank you guys. If you donated to us, we appreciate that too. Everything God has blessed us with. We've been here 7 years, married 17 years, ministry for the church 7 years, but doing ministry together for 17 years, just as long as we've been married. And so all we trying to give God glory, win souls, live holy in the process. And so we thank you guys for everything you've done. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Got my nephew here, but there's this need for love listening to you guys, to y'all a bit lonely. Don't worry about it. She's coming back, brother. She coming back, brother. Don't worry about she's coming back, brother. So so we appreciate you guys. So thank you guys for joining us. We pray that you have a wonderful evening. See you tomorrow. Lord, say the same. If Jesus haven't came, we will be here. All right. Talk to you later. God bless you. Sister Jennifer, tending to the kids right now, but we'll see you soon. Peace.